Hello everyone, we are from Gemini Egg and welcome to our research presentation, which is about GitHub Actions. So, we are sure that all of you have heard of and used GitHub before, but have you ever known about GitHub Actions? Today, we will present our research in GitHub Actions. In your GitHub repository, you can find the Action tab. With GitHub Actions, you can automate software development and IT operations, or Devops, enabling continuous integration and continuous deployment right inside GitHub. It connects all of the tools to automate every step of the development workflow, which including testing, managing issues, automating release, and deploying to the host on many specified events in GitHub. GitHub Actions could be run on different operating systems like Linux, Mac OS, and Windows by just identifying the OS in the workflow. The purpose of GitHub Action is to automate the workflow of software development. The workflows are stored and executed in the repository, so the user can create, share, reuse, and fork the repository with the workflows. For example, every time someone creates a pull request for a repository, the GitHub Actions can automatically run a series of commands that executes the software testing script and the deployment script. And that is all about GitHub Actions. Next, I will continue explain roles in Devops.
Thank you. Now move to the role of GitHub Action in Devops. GitHub Action allows the developer to create workflow that automatically build, test, publish, release, and deploy code, enabling continuous integration and continuous deployment. With GitHub Action, the developer can automate how they build, test, and deploy projects within their software development lifecycle. Continuous integration, or CI, is a DevOps software development practice where developers merge their code into a main repository many times a day, and the build and test are run automatically. Continuous deployment, or CD, is a DevOps practice that releases and deploys the change from the repository to production continuously. This diagram on the right shows how GitHub Action to automatically run your software testing script and deployment script. An event automatically triggers the workflow which contains a job, and the job then uses steps to control the order in which actions are run. For example, in continuous integration, when the developer creates a pull request, it will run the test to see whether a pull request affects other parts in the code. If there is an error, it will reject the pull request. Otherwise, it will automatically integrate the PR. Another example is in continuous deployment. After the developer pushes the code into the main branch and the pull request is accepted, GitHub Action can automatically deploy those codes to the host. And these are all of the roles of action. Next, Neil will explain about the feature of GitHub Action.
Thank you, GitHub Actions provides many features to help you automate the software workflow easily. First, availability to run on multiple platforms. Users can run every major operating system on a virtual machine, such as Linux, Mac OS, Windows, ARM, or inside a container. It is easy for the users to build and test all their projects. Next, matrix builds. Users can save time on testing matrix workflow across multiple operating systems and versions of the runtime. Another one is any languages support. Users can use any languages to build, test, and deploy applications. For example, Node.js, Python, Java, Ruby, PHP, Go, Rust, Net, and more. There is also a live logs feature which users can see their workflow run in real time with colors and emoji. They can click to copy a link that highlights a specific line number to share a CI/CD failure. The next feature is built-in secret store. GitHub Actions help automating user software development practices with workflow files embracing the Git flow by codifying it in their repository. The last one is multi-container testing. Users can test their web service and its database in their workflow by simply adding some Docker compose to their workflow file. Now, we have learned about the features of GitHub Actions, which are availability to run on multiple platforms, matrix builds, and languages support, live logs, built-in secret store, and multi-container testing. Next, the advantages and disadvantages of GitHub Actions will be explained by Tide.
Thank you, Winner, for an interesting explanation. Do you know how popular GitHub Action is? GitHub Action is a well-known service that 147 companies have used in their tech stacks, including HKK, Bipro Company, and Upstage AI. Now, let's focus on the advantage and the disadvantage of GitHub Action. For the advantage, the first advantage is that GitHub Action makes it easier to automate the build, test, and deployment of projects on any platform because it is built right inside GitHub. The second advantage is that GitHub Action is free for public repository, so developers and students can use it for free. In case of the private repository, the try define a maximum amount of minutes. You can also purchase additional runner with pricing depending on the platform. The third advantage is that it does not require an SSH key to integrate with GitHub repository. The fourth advantage is that it is convenient to implement CI/CD for the project, since most people are already using GitHub for version control. Having both functionality on the same platform will make the process simple. GitHub Actions are also easy to set up and support a wide variety of the tech stack. The last advantage is that it is suitable for any platform such as Linux, Mac OS, Windows, directly in a VM, and other Docker containers. However, there is only one disadvantage for using GitHub Action. GitHub Action is currently for small-scale use, not the enterprise, at least not for free. Next, GT will show you the demo how to use GitHub Action.
Thank you, Tide. Okay, so now let's move on to the demo of GitHub Actions. Okay, so here on your left-hand side, you can see a repository. This repository is actually public, and we will leave a link in the description, so you can clone it and just follow right along. What this application does is simply just return a web page with the day of the week. That's it. And for this demo, what I am going to do is that first I'm going to go through the YAML files, and then I'm going to show you how the workflow is run in real time. So firstly, let's look inside integrate.yaml. This is for integration. So the first thing you see is the name and then the events, which tells us that it will run the workflow when we push to the branch master. And then we have the jobs. And inside the jobs, we specify the platform, and then we specify the steps. The first thing it's going to do is just copying the file into the Ubuntu current directory. And then it's going to set up Node.js with version 12, and then it's going to run npm CI, which is like npm install inside the Ubuntu machine. And then it's going to run a test on the application, and then it's going to run a build. So we run a build here just to see whether the build could be successfully done or not. Okay, next, let's just look inside the deploy.yaml. Okay, so similarly, the first thing is name, and then we have the events, but this time, this workflow will be run when we create a new release. It's a bit different. And then the rest is quite similar until the last one. Because we are using Firebase to host the application, we need to use this additional tool specifically for Firebase. So actually I have created my Firebase account and my Firebase application. It's for free. You can try it out, and then you'll get your Firebase token, and you can put it inside your GitHub repository. I'll just show you real quick. You can find the secrets, and then you can create a new repository secret, but I have already done it, so I'm not going to do it again. Okay, so actually that is all about the YAML files. So the next thing that I am going to do is to push to the branch master. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Okay, so the push is complete. Now we can come back to the GitHub page and go to the Actions tab. Here we can see there is one workflow running, and we can see the details of it. Okay, so here you can see that we get a green check mark. That means everything checks out okay, but if we have an error inside the code, then we'll get a red cross instead. Okay, so for deployment, here it is going to run when we create a new release. So I'm just going to do just that. We can go to the main page, and then on the right hand side here you can see releases. So I am just going to draft a new release and give it a tag version, let's say v5, and then publish the release. Here we can see that we have successfully created a new release. So now if we go to the Actions tab, we will see that there is one workflow running, which is v5. And we can see the detail inside it. So here we get a green check mark again. So that means everything checks out fine. So we have successfully deployed the program into the host, which is on Firebase. Okay, so that is the end of the demo. So just to summarize a bit, we have explained about what GitHub Action is, its features, its roles, its advantages and disadvantages, and then the demo for GitHub Actions. I hope that you found this presentation useful and interesting. Thank you for your attention.